So, Baylor did their job in round 1 of the NCAA tournament yesterday. The Bears rained threes all over Colgate on what became a fairly rainy night in Memphis. Jalen Bridges scored 23 with 5 triples, Jacoby Walter scored 19 with 3, and Jaden Nunn scored 15 with 4. Heck, Jonathan Chalmers-Chachua and Austin Sachs hit from downtown to help Baylor tie a program record 16 triples in an NCAA game. Baylor was in control from tip to final horn, and now they get a matchup with, drumroll please, Clemson. The Tigers, the number 25 team in KenPom and the number 22 overall seed, beat out the favored 11-seeded New Mexico Lobos for a spot in the round of 32 against the Bears. Clemson finished 5th in the ACC with an 11-9 conference record. Some will say that's not a great mark compared to the Bears' 11-7 record in the Big 12, since the ACC is a worse conference. In fact, Clemson head coach Brad Brownell made headlines when he offered that Big 12 teams might be manipulating the net ratings in order to get better seeds and appear like a stronger conference.
The Big 12, so they're playing 8 non-conference games, 7 non-conference games against low-level teams and increasing their net. And then when they all get into the league, their totals are higher, their net rankings are higher, and so their teams are perceived to be a little better than they are.
Well, now a Big 12 team has a shot to symbolically shut Brownell up. Though, I will note, Brownell, at his media presser just a couple hours ago, did try and say that it was meant more as a compliment to the Big 12 teams. They're doing it, they're bettering themselves, etc. Take that as you will. Personally, I don't think he's wrong about the net being susceptible to manipulation. However, the Big 12 as a conference likely isn't colluding to do this, and Baylor had the second toughest non-conference schedule in the Big 12 per KenPom and the 18th toughest in the Power 6. 4 of those 17 tougher schedules belong to ACC teams, including Clemson, who had the second toughest non-conference schedule in the ACC. So really, this is 2 battle-tested teams with a little pre-existing bulletin board material that Scott Drew can draw on. Now, let's look at the stats. Clemson has the number 25 offense and the number 45 defense per KenPom. Compared to Baylor's number 5 and number 71 ranked units, turnovers look to be of greater importance than usual. Clemson doesn't force them at a great rate, but they are very good at not giving them up either. And honestly, not much more pops out to me from the KenPom numbers. So let's dive into Clemson's personnel.
What's the first thing that sticks out once you all have started the Clemson Scout?
They have very, big guards, physical guards, and they have very good bigs as well. I watch their bigs, all season. They have very good bigs, so we're going to try to help the bigs out with that.
One of the bigs Jaden Nunn was referencing is PJ Hall, Clemson's star player. The 6'10", 238-pound center is a beast, scoring about 19 points per game and knocking down plenty of threes in the process. His pick-and-pop combination with Tiger point guard Joseph Girard III could give Yves Missy and the Bears some fits. Hall isn't lethal from 3, shooting at 32% on the year, but a game like BYU's Ali Khalifa had against Baylor in Provo last month is certainly in the realm of possibility. That would be bad news for Baylor. The aforementioned Girard is the Tigers' second leading scorer with a little over 15 points per game, and he's an energizer bunny. He just keeps moving. His off-ball movement will cause problems for Baylor, especially if he's on from three-point range. Now, the last Tiger I'll highlight is Chase Hunter. The 6'4" guard is very athletic and has a good first step. He could cause Baylor's guards issues if the Bears are in man defense. Hunter averaged 12.5 points this season and led Clemson past New Mexico with 21 points in the first round. There are other solid contributors for the Tigers like Ian Shefflin and Jack Clark, who are both tall dudes. But Hall, Hunter, and Girard will be the make-or-break players. As always seems to be the case for Baylor, they cannot get off to a slow start, especially here on a neutral court against a talented team. There's almost no way the Bears can shoot better than they did from deep against Colgate. If they find a way to do that without shooting incredibly fewer threes, then they should refuse to play in any other building for the rest of the tournament. Emphasizing getting to the hoop through pick and rolls could be smart for the Bears if they equally emphasize getting PJ Hall in foul trouble as they do it. A couple things would end up happening. Hall could get into foul trouble, and even if he doesn't, Baylor could still open up good drive and kick threes. At the other end of the court, without Hall, Baylor centers could be more free to stay closer to the hoop and offer help, allowing the other Bears to be more aggressive on Clemson's perimeter shooters. Whatever Scott Drew's game plan is tomorrow, a win would mean the 7th 25-win season for Baylor, and it would mean the 4th time in the last 5 tries they accomplished that. Also, A win would mean the program's 6th Sweet 16 trip, all of which happened in the Drew era. But of course, this is March, and things don't go as planned. So, as the round of 32 matchup for Baylor rapidly approaches, I ask again, can the Bears survive in advance?
Their teams are perceived to be a little better than they are.
You're in the NCAA tournament. You don't need any added motivation.